If you are a self-taught violinist, chances are you are making at least one of these huge mistakes, and you don't even realize it. I've played the violin for 30 years, taught hundreds of students, and these mistakes show up in self-taught violinists all the time. And the worst part, they are holding you back without you even knowing it. But today, I'm gonna break them down step by step and show you what you should do instead so you can start making real progress on the violin now. So let's start with mistake number 7 first. Looking at the wrong things. When they play the violin, most people do like my student Matthias here. The problem here is that Matthias is looking the whole time at his fingers or at his bow. And a lot of students too are looking too much at the music sheet too. And to be honest, I did the same mistakes in the past. It's very common. What you want to do instead is to focus on what you perceive. That means really feel where your hand is, where your fingers are, where your bow is on the string, and listening. When instead you are looking, you are doing the opposite. You are using your eyes, not feeling what you are doing, or not really listening. To solve this problem, it's very easy. Just close your eyes and start playing by heart. And automatically, you will have no choice. You will need to listen at what you are doing, and you will start perceiving a lot of things. Of course, at the beginning, it will be difficult, and because of that, I will advise you to do that in a few steps. The first step will be to just play open strings, so that you can really first focus only on feeling the bow and adjusting it. Then the next step, that will be doing the same with very simple exercises. For example, those are the exercises we give our students in the Violinacademy by level 1, week 11. And you can see it's a very exercise with only 3 notes. D, E, F sharp, E. And you could just repeat this one first. And focus on listening, the same. And then the next step will be to do that with a piece, but here the same. Don't try to do the complete piece. First, just play one bar of it. For example, let's say you are like our students learning Dvorak's World Symphony by level 2. Instead of trying to play the whole piece, you could just focus first on playing this first bar, only that, and repeat it a few times until it sounds really good. Mistake number 6. Thinking something is easy just because you can play it. Very often, when a new student will book a consultation with us for the Violinacademy, they send a recording of the reading concert. You know this here. And every time the problem is they can play it, but they can't play it well. And that's the reason why most of the time then we ask them to start again from level 1 and play instead Ode to Joy. Here, let's us compare what is the difference. So first, when you look here, you will see that reading concert is a piece we give our students first in level 8. And when you look at the Ode to Joy, you will see it's level 1, week 13. So now let's look at the difference between the notes. So here, if we look at reading, what we see is that this piece is on all the 4 strings of the violin. It's all in the first position too, but it's on all 4 strings. On top of that, there is a lot of extra difficulties. There are a lot of slurs the whole time, sometimes quite long slurs with 4 notes. You have some accidentals, you have different dynamics, and of course there are a lot of string changes. Now, if we compare this to the Ode to Joy, what we see is that here instead, we are playing the whole time on only one single string, the D string. There is no extra accidentals, we have only F sharp the whole time. The rhythm is very simple, only quarter note and 1/2 note. There is no slur, nothing extra, it's very simple. Because here the important point is that being able to play something is not the same as being able to play it beautifully. So if that's important for you, then you need really to do that. That means focusing first on very simple pieces until you can play them really beautifully, and then only increasing the level very step by step. Mistake number 5, sounding better than you do. Here the problem is that most people have a wrong perception of how they play, how well it sounds, and which kind of mistakes they do. Here the problem too is that most teachers praise their students the whole time. Student will play something and then the teacher will say, oh, it's okay, let's go to the next piece. And then every week they will go to the next piece, and they will not be really very critical. Or sometimes it's the opposite. You will have a teacher and he will be only like, it's bad, it's easy, why can't you just do it? So here what I would really advise. Record yourself regularly using your phone, not only the audio but the video too. And then you need to analyze it. Here, how to do it. So that's the theory of constraint from the Violin Pyramid Method. The goal here is to find what is your actual constraint by looking at the 5 pillars of violin mastery. So the first one that you can see here is the sound. Does your tone with the bow sound good? The next one is the intonation. Are you hitting the right notes with the left hand? Rhythm. Are you playing the correct rhythm and are they proportional? The fourth one is the tempo. Is the tempo always the same or is it becoming faster and slower? And the last one is the musicality. Does it sound really free? Or does it sound like a robot? And those are the 5 pillars. And after you find out which one you should focus on, you will spend 80% of your time working on these 1 pillars and only 20% for all the rest. And then, of course, you should really dig deeper in this 1 constraint to understand what exactly is causing you problems. So if you go, for example, to the sound, here, if you follow me on the mind map, you will see that there are a lot of possible problems and things you need to do so that it sounds beautifully. And if you want to learn to play the violin beautifully, we are organizing a free violin masterclass. You will find the link under this video. Mistake number 4, thinking repetition is practice. Every time we ask a new student how we practice, we always get the same answer. Basically, we'll take one part he has difficulty with and just repeat it over and over again. That's actually the worst thing you could do. Yeah, it's very important to understand how automation works. So first, when you learn the violin, the goal is to build the right reflexes, the right automation, so that every time that you want to play something, you can play it beautifully. And for that, there is always 2 steps for every single technique. The first step is always to learn to do that one technique correctly. Let's say the goal will be to play the 3rd finger on the A string correctly every single time. The first step is to learn to play this 3rd finger correctly. I need to learn how I need to place my hand, how to have a beautiful sound with the bow, and only after that will I start repeating it so that I can automate it. But if you take something that's not working and just repeating it over and over again, you are just repeating the same mistakes and building wrong reflexes that are later very difficult to change. So here, how you could practice instead your pieces. The 7 steps framework that you can see here is part of the Violin Pyramid Method. And the goal here is to master every piece by practicing every difficulty one after another. We'll today focus only on step 4 and 5 of it with the reading concept. Step 4 is basically mastering the left hand by calibrating every note and then automating it, and step 5 is mastering the bow by playing the piece on open strings. So those are 4 bars from the reading concept, and for step 4, what we'll do is just play every note without repetition very slowly. And here for the goal, that will not be to repeat and repeat it again, but will just be to calibrate. That means being sure that you are playing the right note. That means we want to verify every note. There is different way to do that. To be sure the note that you are playing is the right one. And only after we are sure of that, we will start repeating it. first in half note, like you can see here, very slowly. Without playing the original rhythm, it was like that. Then we'll play it in quarter note, like you can see here. You could combine that with different bowings, short bowings, long bowings, playing down bow or up bow, playing some crescendo, adding dynamics. Okay, you can combine with different variations. And then only we'll play it in eighth notes. And then we'll go to step 5. So here by step 5, the goal is to master the bow by first practicing it on open strings. If we take our piece and try to play it on open strings, it will look like that if we remove every slur. Okay, and that's a good advice to first remove every slur and just play it on the right strings but without any additional slurs. And when you can do that well, then you can start doing it with the real slurs. That will be like this. Okay? And that's written like that just so that you can understand, but of course I'm not playing. I'm trying really to play the same thing that it will be in the end. In the end it will sound like this. I do the same on open string. With the same phrasing and the same dynamics. And here you should avoid doing mistake number 3, wasting time learning vibrato. Most people start way too soon learning the vibrato. And because of that, what happens is that they are learning the wrong vibrato, something that is not a vibrato at all. And the longer they do that, the more difficult it becomes later to correct it. And this happens basically because they are learning it too soon without using a right method. But I have another video only about that. And that's the reason too you should not do mistake number 2, being okay with playing average. I see that all the time, and the problem is that if you want to progress, you need to raise the bar the whole time. What I mean with that is that I will see a lot of people just playing exercises, or even what I just show you, playing every note in half note. But the problem is that if you are satisfied with how it sounds and don't try actively to make it sound better, it will not become better. So how to do it is simple. Try to improve one bar at a time. That means I could take only the first bar here of reading. And first try to play this one bar perfectly. That means that if something happens, like that one note is too high, for example, or by one note the sound was not so good, instead of just continuing, like most people do, stop and practice this one thing, so that I fix it right now. Never let something for later. We will never do something later. When you heard something, you need to practice it directly to improve it now. And that's the reason for not doing mistake number 1, trying to learn the violin by yourself. The violin is a very complex instrument. And here the problem is that when you learn something wrong, later on it's very difficult to change. And then you will need to learn the violin from the start again. And actually, that's the reason why most people give up on the violin. And that's very sad. Because they had basically the wrong mentor, or they tried to learn it alone, and then it didn't sound well, and they thought that they are too untalented for it, or maybe that they are too old for it. The truth is, no one is too old, and no one is untalented and can't learn the violin. I never had a student that could not learn the violin correctly. But for that, you need to learn it with the best possible methods and the best possible teachers.